I can't believe Ford even send these things off the line with tie rods this small. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I am so excited this lift kit is done. Oh, the thing looks amazing underneath there. That Beltec 4.5 to 7.5 inch coilover lift. Illusion Spanish fly. Oh, it looks phenomenal underneath there. So I went down a rough country rabbit hole, and I was actually trying to look for a spare tire carrier situation. And then I went down this rabbit hole of they have a lot of accessories for these Broncos. Random things you wouldn't think of, including some giant, fat, enormous tie rods that are going to help us. And with tires like that and width of wheels and weight of that's going to be on the front end, those tie rods from factory won't snap instantly. So I started off with the tire carrier in those, and then we got a little carried away here. These right here, this is actually exciting because I decided to keep the factory bumpers. I don't like any of the aftermarket bumpers really for these. They haven't made all the angles right just yet, I feel like, to make it look aggressive enough. But this will make our factory bumper that looks good kind of look off-road. And I didn't even know these existed till I found them. These are rough country D-ring conversion brackets. You get rid of your factory tow hooks, and this clamps on your frame. This sticks through your factory bumper where the tow hook would, and you can attach D-rings to it instead. So I thought that was really, really cool. We're gonna be putting these on. Oh, this right here was something my Bronco didn't come with, and the fact that Rough Country made one was just like, all right, cool. But the Bronco didn't come with one, but obviously we got to powder coat it and install it. A hitch. The Bronco didn't come with the hitch, but this is literally a Rough Country hitch, and we're most definitely going to powder coat it and install it, and it'll go right there. The holes are already there in the frame. It's just like a Jeep, and we'll bolt this on. This box. This is what I'm interested to see, how big these things are. Wow, holy cow. Compared to stock, this thing is enormous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there'll be no issues there. Wow, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. Oh man. I can't wait to get those on. That's crazy. And they have grease fittings at the top. Nice. Wow. All right. That's huge.
Yeah.
This, not really sure. And the rubber isolators for the tow hook brackets. Nice. They're black. Nice. I was actually really interested in this because the Bronco tailgate is actually, the way it's set up is kind of funny. So I wanted to see how this works. It's just, you put it on the thing and then it bends back. They got a nice bend in it. Also online, I was going to be honest, this thing looked significantly thinner. The pictures don't do it justice, because you're like, how can something that cheap compared to all of the other ones out there, like from Smitty Built and all those other spare tire assist brackets, and the other one is the relocator, chunky, and then this looks so like almost paper thin, but no, this is pretty thick. I'm actually gonna paint this whole thing body color so it matches and gets hidden all up in there. And then this last box here is the other part to this. You can buy this separate and that separate, or you could buy both of these together. This is the spare tire relocator, because obviously we're gonna put at least a tire that size on this thing. So I guess same plan with this. I'd like to paint this purple. It'd be so much easier just to powder coat both of them, the Illusion Spanish fly, but this is necessary to fit a ginormous tire on the tailgate. And then with the reinforcement, because these tailgates and all these body panels are so light, definitely takes a lot of load and stress off the mounting points for where the spare tire carrier goes. So here I've got wheel spacers. They are the correct bolt pattern, which is a 6 by 5.5. As you can see, the hub is not the right size. These spacers are for a Silverado, but these were the cheapest spacers I could find. I need them for like 20 minutes literally. So Bronco specific wheel spacers were like 150, 200 bucks for just 2 of them, but these were 50 bucks on Amazon and they're for Silverados. So the only difference is not only the hub bore, but these studs are 14 by 1.5, and the Bronco studs I believe are like JK Wranglers that are like 12 millimeter studs, because that just goes on there. So what we're gonna do is use these lug nuts for the wheel, and we're gonna use the factory lug nuts, which somehow happen to fit right in here. I just need to make sure I have a socket that'll work, which I should. That might be the catch-22 here. Okay, so here is the like humongous rough country tie rod for this. Obviously you guys can see the factory one. Even all the way up here, this part of the shaft is just, I mean, it's smaller than my finger, and this thing is just huge all the way up here. I mean, that's thick. So this will give us no issues at all, keep us from snapping those. This kit only works with like 17 and up, so that's why we need the wheel spacers, but I'm making sure that with the wheel spacers this will fit in there and not hit our wheel, so we can move it after I install these, because after that we have to put the big tires on, and I don't know if we can align it on those. So right now we never attach this. I'm gonna pop this out. You can see how in there it's pretty good. But I'm gonna see if I can pop it out while the tire's on, and the answer is no. So I can't pop it out while it's in there. So we'll have to take the tire off and then see if that fits. It's gonna be close, that's for sure. But let's figure that out. Okay, we're gonna do that test on the other side, so I don't have to take that wheel and tire off a bunch. And I gotta install the wheel spacer on this side anyway, but look at that, look at the difference. Holy crap. Let me zoom this out, or unscrew this. That's a serious upgrade. Look at that. Look at this threaded rod and this. No issues whatsoever with this, that's for sure. Wow. That's crazy. And like, it always blows my mind that, okay, obviously price is a factor and like weight is a factor, but the factory comes up with this, yet the aftermarket comes up with this, and it solves all of these problems and makes the vehicle safer and nicer to drive. I don't get it. And it fits in the same spot. Unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, let's try this out. I don't know, we might be close here, but hey, it hits. Ever so slightly. Okay, so this combo is no good for this knuckle and tie rod combo. Even with the 2-inch wheel spacer, it hits right here. I think we may be able to get away if we put a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch wheel spacer on these studs. However, till we figure that out, what I'm going to do is we're going to put our factory tie rod back in, just like this, and then we'll be able to put this, we're going to put this down and on the ground on its own weight. We'll get everything else tightened and tidied up from the lift, and we may even be able to install our skid plates, our tow hook brackets, and all that. What we're going to do now is at the top of this, the factory tie rod, there's a metal band clamp. It's kind of a crimp clamp, so you have to take a screwdriver and pry it open, pop it off, and then it'll reveal this. And all we're going to do is take a wrench and twist off the factory tie rod, but you got to get beyond that clamp first. So just get in there, pry it. It's a little tight in there, so you won't really see what I'm doing. But once you're up in there, you'll see the clamp, and you just got to pry it open so it releases, and this will slide off and you can start unscrewing it from there. Okay, so we got the Rough Country HD gigantic tie rod installed. As you can see, our 16 is back on here. I'm checking clearance. Right now we clear. I currently, as you can see, have 2 lug nuts, and then the other 4 are sitting behind the wheel, acting as a 3/4 inch spacer on top of the 2-inch. I think if I had a 3-inch wheel spacer up front, I'd clear this thing completely on these wheels. But we need at least 3/4 of an inch, preferably another inch on this, and then we might be okay. So maybe even 3 inches and then a 1/2 inch spacer too, because then we'll definitely clear. Okay, so we got the other arm screwed in to tighten this one. It's a little bit tighter with this side of the diff, so we're actually just gonna steer this outwards, and that kind of arm will stick out. I'll be able to tighten the inner tie rod right there. However, when we did the lift, the upper control arm, this bolt, it's still loose because we got to get it on the ground and tighten everything down there. But we had to take the steering shaft off so we could get the control arm bolt out. So we never reconnected it, so we're gonna do that now real quick. Slide it back on, line it up with our alignment marks, and we should be good. Tie rods and all that's all in. While I'm underneath here, after I got the dust boot on that tie rod, the drive shaft still needs connected. Here's what we're dealing with. So the factory bolts are like an M8. I believe they're an M8 by 1 thread pitch. To get this in like an 80 millimeter or 70 millimeter or something that's longer than this to fit that spacer and screw into the diff is like almost impossible. Like you can't find this bolt longer, which makes me think, did they make this bolt because it's a Torx head too? Like pretty much what we're looking for doesn't exist. So I can't really do much here. However, when I looked at Rough Country, their 5-inch kit, but they do not include a front drive shaft spacer, which makes me think that, okay, you know, it's gonna work. Just I mean, it's a little extended, I will admit it's a little extended, but factory to where it is now, I don't think it's extended that much more, and we don't have bolts to support this spacer at the moment. So I'm going to reconnect the drive shaft. It's not like, I mean, it's not like painfully stretched out or anything. It's just kind of just stretched and down and in. I mean, it's nothing crazy. So I think we're okay. We're going to reinstall the factory bolts, factory drive shaft straight into the front diff here, and I think everything should be good. Okay, so now we're gonna install these tow hook brackets to D-ring conversion brackets Rough Country has. Like I said, I just saw these on the website and I was like, wait, that'll solve all my issues because it'll make my stock bumper look like an off-road bumper, and this is exactly what we needed. So these are gonna mount right here, literally where your stock tow hooks would, and it will come out the same hole, all of that. They give you brackets for both the passenger side right here and the driver's side intercooler, because you can tell right here it's just kind of dangling and that gets held up by the tow hooks. So it gives you new brackets for those. We'll get those thrown in. The intercooler will make its way back up there. All we got to do is bolt these intercooler brackets to each tow hook bracket. It'll hook right here on the back bolt, and then you'll run this other bolt up straight through the bottom. So nice and easy install, and it's gonna look sick. Okay, so we got the Rough Country D-ring conversion brackets installed. Nice and easy. Intercooler's all secure right back there again. It's not hanging down anymore. It's awesome. Next part of the plan here was to install the skid plate that came with the Beltec lift kit, and we ran into some issues. Obviously, why wouldn't we? Bronco. One, the skid plate, even if we did get it installed, because I could make it work, it covers up the whole side of this Rough Country bracket, and then it just kind of looks, it actually almost makes it look worse. That's not good. So I mean, I could cut this off and I could notch this and I could put it up, but then I have to repowder coat it and do all that stuff, and I'm not going to do that. Can't cut these because that, you know, that removes your towing strength. So over here you could see that's our factory plastic skid plate that goes around the tow hooks. I just dug it out. Take this one off, make sure it fits, and I'm gonna sand that thing down and paint it purple with the rest of the other stuff, and we can reinstall that. Oh, not gonna work, but that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, it doesn't make it look good on the sides at all, and put that one in there and spray it purple. Okay, update. This isn't gonna work either because it's too fat to slide underneath this cross member. Yeah, so Okay, so before we left yesterday, we threw the front bumper on just to see what we were dealing with, and because I guess I had two options and I didn't know which route to take. So throwing the front bumper on, taking a look at it, I guess, let me move this out of the way. But I need to put something back on, so my options were either cut that or cut this or make my own, which is another option, but that's too much, especially when the factory one fits the bumper perfectly, or that one was made to fit the Bronco itself. So I think what I'm gonna do here is actually chop this. I'm gonna take the Beltec one off, put this one back on, see how it fits. Now, like I said, it's very tight, but I'm gonna see what I can do and figure out how close I need to chop it so it gets close to that cross member and also fills the entire gap. I will be cutting off the bottom mounting points, but we have mounting points here and here, and I don't think the weight of this much should be too crazy, but I also think that's our better option here because the bumper will obviously be painted, and around the D-rings there, hopefully a little pop of color there, and then the whole thing will go down and in. Then we could get this thing cut, and I could put it in the next round of parts that needs painted, and we could keep knocking things out very quickly on this. Okay, so this fits great. Ashley's steady hand cut this a lot better than me, and it fits right there. Kind of line it up the best I can, figure out spots to drill in here, and then we'll continue and drill straight into here. We'll put some frame nut zerts in there, and we'll be able to bolt this at the bottom, the middle, and the top. Okay guys, we just went in there. Obviously we got the rib nuts all in the frame. Everything's ready to go down here for our skid plate to be bolted on. We got those, and then we got these up here. And then there's all the matching holes. Obviously, forget the Sharpie marks because we're gonna paint this purple. Obviously, we're gonna paint that bumper purple as well, and that should be, honestly, the next thing I end up doing. It looks so good with those Rough Country D-ring conversion on there, and I think it's gonna look even better once I think I'm gonna powder coat those and have them match. I also just went and threw on the rear tow hook to get that all completed. And from that last video till now, look at that, the entire rack is gone. We're down to 2 pieces left. Our skid plate that goes underneath the cross member and the diff, which is no problem, that'll go right on. And then our rear sway bar. I actually got the parts for the rear sway bar, the correct bushings and brackets and all that. I just left them at home the past 3 days, so I need to bring those here. We'll get the brackets powder coated and we'll get that rear sway bar thrown on. But other than that, we're gonna go drop these off at the sandblaster so we can get both brackets sandblasted, and I can paint those purple. And then we're also gonna drop this hitch off because we'll get that sandblasted, and the hitch will also be Illusion Spanish Fly. I don't see anything getting towed with this Bronco one bit, but it's just a pop of color and it just adds that little bit in there, and I'm glad Rough Country had it. Great price. It's just going to add a perfect accent, a little bit higher than just underneath. Same thing with those D-rings up front. I was originally going to go through and powder coat the factory ones, and like that looks cool and all, but like I said, I wanted an off-road bumper, but I don't like any of the looks of any of them. We just made the factory one look a little more aggressive, and it's gonna look even better once it's all painted. That's kind of the reason why I kept telling Ashley that the this bracket here would look amazing if we powder coated it this color, but that means sticking out of the frame here too, this little nub would be Illusion Spanish Fly, and then this would also be it. So it was just a lot, and I still think it looks good with the black Rough Country brackets in there. Also our big beefy tie rod. I can't believe Ford even send these things off the line with tie rods this small. I mean, literally, even with 35s and tie rods this small, that is just crazy. These are known to snap, not so much up there, but they're known to snap right here. So a lot of companies make sleeves and other stuff to help, you know, support this with extra weight on the front end, or tires or wheels, or even just off-roading. People have snapped these with the stock tires on, even these, just in their driveway. It's so crazy. So this is a much needed upgrade, especially with what we're gonna do. We needed those tie rods because this is literally no chance this was cutting it. Well, this should be the last time it kind of looks like this. The suspension's all done. I gotta tighten the lower arms. Kind of want to adjust them a bit before we take it to the alignment shop because the tires are kicked a bit, so I'm going to take some time and kind of get them a little more straight up and down as close as I can before we go. Other than that though, the whole suspension's done, front, rear, all of that. We'll throw on the rear sway bar, really nothing. And then the next thing literally is to put this back together. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, shoot this video a thumbs up. If you haven't been here before, please get down there, click subscribe, drop me a comment if you haven't already. Take care. I will see you guys in the next one. I don't think it's going to look like this much longer because I think literally I got to get this thing painted, the top on, and we'll get that interior knocked out and get this thing finished. We are so close, and I can't wait. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.